Actually, the small place in Norway where I come from, which is called Voss, we had a quite big music school, and one of the biggest instruments there was what we would call accordion, but in Russian it's the same as баян. And I was very fascinated when I was a kid of all these buttons, and I thought it was something where I could express my fantasy and imagination. So for me it was a quite natural choice, simply because it was such a big instrument in my music schools. I heard it all the time. At one time, actually, there was 8 of my people in my same class which played the баян. So for me, I would have been an outsider if I did not play the баян. I played since I was 7. Yeah, small, not this big instrument. I started on a small child's instrument, which you find on the баян also. You can find in different sizes. Decided quite early that I would like to study the баян, or the accordion as we call it, simply because I had a lot of good experiences and spent a lot of time on it when I was a child. And I knew this professor in Copenhagen, where I now live, from I was already quite young, and he inspired me very much to go for the music way. So for me it was always, since I was 11, maybe 12 years, kind of clear to me that I would like to be a musician.
Yeah. There are musicians in your family, maybe your parents or grandfather before?
I only have a big brother which used to play in the local dance band, that's it. I first met Sophia Gubaidullina in a festival in Denmark in 1994, and already at that time I think we both felt that we had something very much in common around her music and how to interpret that. I remember I played 2 pieces for her then. It was a solo piece called De Profundis, which is probably the most famous баян piece ever, and a trio with violin and cello as well. And we worked together for this small week, ended up with a concert, and after this we've had contact, and I have frequently met her during the years, and already many years ago we talked about the possibility maybe to make a new баян concerto. I've played practically all her баян pieces, of course, but this new one which was a solo concerto for strings and percussion, I think would fit my instrument very good, and she thought so as well. And decided to do this back in 2009. Of course, we met more frequent in this period where we worked on the concerto, because she is a very curious composer. As I'm sure most people would know about her, she uses the instrument in very special ways with very special sounds, and she likes to collaborate with the instrumentalists in this. She's done this a lot with cello as well, and my instrument also. So she tried to squeeze out any sort of very strange and new sounds which she can fit in her scores. This was very inspiring also for me, because she demands a lot which I, as an instrumentalist, say, no, this cannot be done. But she says, yes, we'll try, and then we try and maybe fail a little bit also, and then she has found some new ways of using the instrument, and in that way it has been such an inspiration to work with her. Really a lifelong inspiration, I think. I have a class in Copenhagen at the academy there for about, I don't know, 12, 15 students, something like this, yeah, at the academy. Especially on an instrument like mine, where there are not so many professional performers, that we which do that, we also can share our knowledge with the young ones. My first meeting with Maestro was when I had a tour with the London Symphony Orchestra in the autumn in 2011, and it was also this new concerto by Gubaidullina. It was such a pleasure, I have to say, to work with him, because he has so much knowledge, of course, of the composers. Music from before. He has premiered many of her biggest works, actually. So it was for me very natural to sort of come into his world also in this piece, and I think during those days in London, where we also went on tour, we got a very good fundament for this piece to be performed. And at the same time, I have to say also, he's such a living conductor. So if I want to drag in one direction, he will be there immediately. And in music, which is contemporary, this can maybe not, it doesn't always happen so easily, but with him it happens, and it's a pleasure. Well, you know, Sophia Gubaidullina, she says, I'm where east and west meets. So when I come from north and Gергiев from the south, then everything meets there, maybe. The hall is wonderful, really. I've only had this one short rehearsal until now, but and yesterday I was trying there only solo. Fantastic. It carries very, very clearly out, and for my instrument, which demands a little bit of sound, because it's a kind of soundless instrument in the sense that it doesn't have so much resonance on each reed. It really helps a lot to play in such a hall. So no, it's really been a pleasure. Yeah.